everyone. So I'm Kasey Stone with Clerestory Design, and I have not posted a video in a while. So my team and I are busy working on designing a few upcoming projects. So you will see those in video form later. But I realized I had a project that we worked on last summer that I never shared with you. So without further ado, here is the cabin kitchen. Now, this project, like the ones we're working on now, started as a design project. In fact, I'll pop a few little drawings here so you can see. It's a great kitchen. It is a log cabin that the homeowner loved the kitchen. It just wasn't quite functioning the way she wanted it to. So we did a little update, and here is that process. Here's a little before. We are doing a couple of different things. One thing, if you have a raised part of an island, tear it out. It will open your kitchen up so much. So this is coming out. The countertops are coming out. We're gonna make this island a little bigger. We're gonna build some new cabinetry over here, and then new countertops and new backsplash. So we've got a lot to do. We've got a tight time frame to do it in. The house is actually a log cabin, and the homeowner loves that. It's on the river. It's exactly what she wants. She loves the look of her cabinets. So with the new cabinets that we're gonna build, we're going to try to replicate this. And we have a source on this wood. Headed down into the basement is a lot more of this wood. We have a whole wall here of it. And we had thought about taking this wood off, but we have a better idea. We got a motion light here. This wall, which is just a little storage area, also has that wood, or pretty darn close. So our plan is, we think our plan is to take this off and maybe re-sheetrock or get a different tongue and groove on that wall so that it will better match the wood that's already in the kitchen upstairs. Here's an example of the doors from upstairs. So it's a little bit different, but if we put a clear coat on it, I think it'll match up very, very well. All right, so Gio is carefully removing those boards that are under the stairs. He's gonna go ahead and get the nails out. We are especially trying to keep that very first one because it's much bigger than the other panels, and we need some big ones. So we're carefully removing that. And then all of those boards are gonna become cabinet doors and drawer fronts. All right, so this is a tight fit, but Gio has started removing the boards. We're gonna leave this corner piece, and then we are gonna come back. You see, that is T111, which is like a decorative plywood. So to make this match that, we're gonna come back with T111 when we take this off. And we're hoping that it's gonna bump right up here and be flush, or at least trimmed out by this piece. So he very, very carefully removed this piece. This one was a good bit wider than all of the rest of the planks, and we really needed that wide piece. So meanwhile, Jesus is outside, and out here we are using a really nicely finished 3/4 inch plywood, and this is what we're going to build the inside, the guts, the structure of the cabinets. And then we will wrap it in all of that wood that Gio is pulling off. So Gio was able to get a lot of these boards off. In fact, there's our stack right there. So tomorrow we will start figuring out how to make doors and drawer fronts out of it. All right, so we are wrapping up for the day. Gio is packing up the tools. Jesus is finishing. He has built the overall cabinet that we're gonna use, and then tomorrow he'll work on getting the dividing sections, because we're gonna have a pull-out trash can, and then a door with some pull-out shelves, and then a bank of drawers. So he is working on building that overall cabinet first. It is a new day. Here is that piece that you saw Jesus putting together at the end of the day, and now he's working on the face frame. And that has been made out of these old pieces that Gio took off yesterday. So we stole it from one place to put it in a new place. And I just picked up some siding that Gio's gonna use to cover up the ugly mess we made where we took these off. All right, so that face frame is in place. We're still missing this piece right here. We are doing a pull-out trash can on one side and then pull-out shelves on the other. So we're actually waiting on that trash can to arrive. So we're leaving that open so that we've got the specs off the internet, but we really want the exact item here to make sure it fits perfectly. But the plan is to have 2 doors here, one for the trash can, one just a cabinet, and then this is gonna be a bank of drawers. So these are those pieces that Gio took off. Jesus has ripped them down, makes them look really nice. And Jesus has started making doors over here with those same pieces. So that tongue and groove just fits together. I'm not gonna move it because it's not attached, but that's gonna be the size of the doors. We'll put some backing, we'll put a strip on the back to hold all these pieces together. We'll probably put some wood glue in between them as well. And those will be the doors. Similar to, here's an old door, similar to this, just a piece on the back to hold those pieces together. And then the other thing that he's gonna do is route around the edges so that the door doesn't just sit flat on that face frame, but goes inside that opening just a little bit. Meanwhile, inside, Gio got all those little pieces that were too small to be used, but still needed to go away. Now, we have purchased some T111, some siding like this. We wanted that siding, but Lowe's is no longer stocking that, so we had to go with this. Unfortunately, what we bought is not near as thick as the wood that came off of here. So we're gonna go back with that new paneling, but we are going to have to add a little trim at the top and a baseboard at the bottom to allow for that thickness, our new thickness being thinner than our old thickness. You can see if we didn't do that, you would see that crack or that change in the flooring. All right, Jesus is putting those doors together. So he is using a bead of wood glue and then working together with the clamps, and then he's using some pin nails to hold it all in place. Meanwhile, Gio is marking the angle that he's gonna cut on this paneling so that we can fill in that triangle under the stairs. All right, so Gio just cut that first piece that's gonna go right here. He's on his way in with it. So let's hold our breath and cross our fingers that he measured it right. Is it gonna be right, Gio?
Let's hope so.
I believe in Gio, even when Gio doesn't believe in Gio. Is it perfect?
Perfecto.
I think it's perfecto. So we have one door completed. You can see that we've put those supports on the back. He's letting the glue dry on that one, and he's almost ready to finish this one. All right, so he used that hand sander to just soften the edges. We're gonna pop those in place, almost like a splint on the back of the door. So I have been busy all morning. Gio and Jesus have been busy at work. Looks like Gio is making a drawer for us. It looks like an outstanding drawer, Gio. Jesus is working on the drawers that are already made. You can see that those face frames is on. We've got those slides in place. We made sure to get really heavy duty drawer slides because we're putting all that wood on the front of the drawers. And I did a renovation for a client that had really heavy drawer fronts, and the hardware just kept popping off. The drawer slides that were used were not strong enough for those heavy drawer fronts. So in this case, we're using especially heavy duty drawer fronts to manage that. And Gio also finished this that we were working on yesterday. He got all of this paneling in place. So our next step is I have picked up some 1x, and we're gonna do some trim work at the top and at the bottom. Remember I showed you what we went back with was a lot thinner. So we are showing a little bit of gap in the flooring. So all that's gonna get trimmed out after lunch. So Jesus has been working so hard. You saw Gio make the drawers. Jesus had started making the drawer fronts, but one of the things that the homeowner wanted was some variation. So we were able to find one big board on that wall that we took off and make it go far enough that we could do a mixture, because her cabinets, especially her island, is a mixture of like big board, little board, little board. So we've been able to piece together enough pieces to make the drawer fronts. See if I can do this with one hand so that you can see. There we go. So that's gonna fit in there. So they obviously had to be pieced, but it's a little more random, not all the same size, which I think is gonna make it look better. So here's some of the scraps off an old door that we used so that we had those thicker pieces. And here you can see how this one was made with a big piece and a little piece. So all of this is coming together. Let's go inside. Gio is just about finished fixing that wall that we took apart. Gio is finishing up the final touches. So I told you that this was thinner than what we took off, so we had to trim it out. Basically just made a triangle with some 1x, some 1x4s and some 1x6s. We put that shoe mold on to cover up that gap in the floor and get out of Gio's way so he can pack up and clean up. What we're gonna do is, this wall is painted. This is a cinder block wall. We're gonna caulk and paint all of this too. We'll put a little light sanding on this paneling, caulk it all, paint it the wall color so that it'll look like this other paneling that is painted. So that's a wrap on the first installment of the cabin kitchen. I hope that you will come back next time. We're gonna be bringing that cabinet that Jesus built into the kitchen and working on a few other projects in that space. Stay tuned.